I am a hip hop expert, and today I'll be reacting to my followers' hot takes. Since I am a hip hop expert, I'm gonna use my immense hip hop knowledge to agree or disagree with these takes. The first take we got here is Drake is the GOAT. Now, this is a very controversial one, and me myself, I like Drake's music. I listen to a lot of Drake's music, but to say Drake is the GOAT, unless you're talking purely a success like number standard, like how much was sold and all that, I don't think Drake has a case for the GOAT. Like I said, I love his music, but saying the GOAT is a little bit strong. Lil Wayne clears him in every way. Next, we have Chromacopia is a mid album. Now, Chromacopia is Tyler the Creator's album that came out last year, and I listened to it. I liked it. I didn't love it. I gave it like a 7.5. But calling it a mid album, I don't think really stands. It has good tracks all around. Sticky, Like Him, Darling I think it's not Tyler the Creator's best album, but it's nowhere near a mid album. Our next hot take deals with two disappointing 2024 albums. We have Eternal Take Two by Lil Uzi is better than Mixtape Pluto. Now, I just can't agree with this on any level. Eternal Take Two is one of my least favorite projects of 2024, and I think everybody knows that. Even Lil Uzi fell back on it, saying it was a label album when it clearly wasn't, but he had a safe face. Mixtape Pluto was disappointing. It was like a low 7, high 6. Wasn't as good as We Don't Trust You, but it was slightly better than We Still Don't Trust You. But Mixtape Pluto is leagues above Eternal Take Two. There's not even a case here. Next, we have some hot takes that deal with Denzel Curry. The first one being Denzel Curry's best song on Taboo is Black Balloons. Now, I don't think this is a hot take at all. Taboo is one of my favorite albums of all time, and my favorite song used to switch all the time. It used to be Sirens, used to be Clout Cobain, used to be Switch It Up, but now it is firmly Black Balloon. So I agree with this. I don't even think it's a hot take. I think this is a pretty cold take. But Denzel Curry's best song on Taboo is Black Balloon. Our next Denzel hot take is Denzel Curry is a top 20 rapper of all time. Now, I think this depends on how you frame the question, because if it's about my favorite rappers of all time, yeah, Denzel Curry is one of my favorite rappers of all time. But if we're talking best rappers of all time in like a sense of longevity, in a sense of, substance, I don't know if he has enough to say that he's a top 20 rapper of all time, but that's a little bit of a subjective question, and I don't like dealing with subjectivity. So if you're asking me, sure, I'll say Denzel Curry is a top 20 rapper of all time. Our penultimate Denzel Curry hot take is Melt My Eyes, See Your Future is a top 3 album of 2020. Now, personally, I think the 2020s have had some pretty good albums. I think Melt My Eyes, See Your Future is a great album. It's not Denzel Curry's best. I wouldn't even say it's top 2. It wasn't even my favorite album of 2022, so I'm gonna have to disagree with this take. I think Utopia is better. I think the Forever Story is better. I think The Off Season is better. If you say it's a top 15 album of the 2020s, I can get closer to agreeing, but top 3 album, I just can't agree with. Our last Denzel Curry hot take is Denzel Curry is one of the greatest rappers in the 2020s. I already said Denzel Curry is a top 20 rapper of all time, so I don't think it's a huge stretch to say he's one of the greatest rappers of the 2020s. He had King of the Mischievous South last year, and then he had Oh My Eyes See Your Future in 2022. So both of those are great albums. So I do think he has a case to be one of the greatest rappers of 2020. And this is it's pretty broad, one of the greatest rappers of 2020. And so I think he's pretty easily one of the greatest rappers of 2020. So I'm going to agree with this take. Now that we are done with the Denzel Curry hot takes, we can go back to the regular ones. Like Kendrick Lamar has a better discography than Kanye West. Now, if we're going to average the rating of each albums, then yes, I would agree that Kendrick Lamar has a better average album than Kanye West. But Kanye West has way more albums, and most of them are good. He is on a bit of a cold stretch, but I'll take quantity that is still quality over a lower quantity that is more quality. So if we're talking about average album, yeah, I'll give it to Kendrick Lamar. His discography is better, but just the volume of Kanye West makes his discography better, in my opinion. Next, we have GNX is the worst commercial Kendrick album. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of GNX. Similar to Chromacopia, it's not. When I say not a huge fan, it's not like I hated it. I gave it a mid 7. I think it was one of his lower projects. Worst is a bit of a stretch. I think it's better than Section 80. If we're counting Black Panther as a commercial album, then I think it's better than Black Panther. So I think it's a bottom 3 commercial Kendrick album. But even though it was lower, in my opinion, than Kendrick Lamar's typical standards, I don't think it was his worst commercial album. Next, we have 5 takes packaged into one. So first take of this is Jack Harlow is hated for no reason. Now, I do think Jack Harlow is overhated, but to say it's for no reason, I think is a bit disingenuous. Not his last album, his album before that, Come Home, The Kids Miss You, was a bad album. Now, do I think that should stain his legacy like it did? No, he still has good albums. Jackman was good. Confetti is good. Hated for no reason is a bit of a stretch. I think his one album was bad. I think him being white does have something to do with it, but Jack Harlow is hated way too much. So I'm going to agree, but disagree. I think he is overhated, but I don't think he's hated for no reason. Next, we have Eminem's album was bad. I would agree with you. I used to be a bigger Eminem fan, but kind of fell off. His music doesn't really hit to me like it used to. I wasn't a huge fan of this at all. It was one of my least favorite albums of 2024. Felt like he was trying to do too much against the woke culture. He had like a one-sided beef with Gen Z the whole time. Wasn't a fun listen. You could say, oh, I'm just offended. I'm not offended. I'm not gonna waste my time listening to that. Next, we have Drake became very overhated after the rap beef. Yeah, he was pretty hated before. I wouldn't say he was like hated, but there was people that didn't like him, and the beef only personified that. So I do think he was overhated. He deserved a decent amount of hate. Some of the stuff he did wasn't good, but in a musical sense, I think he's way overhated. His music is still good, and I think people try to discredit his music because of who he is rather than what the actual music is. Another beef hot take is K-Dot got way too many Glazers post beef. I would agree in a sense. I do think his fan base ballooned after the beef, and they don't really know the catalog. So you can ask him and they'll be like, oh yeah, my favorite song is Not Like Us or Humble or DNA, the big hits. And they are going for at bat for him recently. They've been on defense. So I do agree with you. I do think Kendrick Lamar has got too many glitches after the beef. There's times now where you mention his name in a slightly bad manner and you're having millions of people coming in defending him, and like the discourse on X is just disgusting. Anytime it slightly favors him or slightly doesn't favor him, there's millions of people like connecting it to Drake or talking about how much better he is or how much Drake is worse than him. It's just I think the discourse around the whole beef is a bit annoying, and I'm kind of over it. Last, we have Hurt Loss is the best album for breakups. Sure, I think probably not, but my hip hop knowledge doesn't really expand into breakup music, so I'll let you have it. Next, we have a take I kind of already touched on. It's Drake used to be overrated, but now he's underrated because he gets so much hate. I don't disagree, but I also don't agree. Like I said, people hate on his music because of who he is as a person, which I don't think is valid. But saying he's underrated, I still think he's underrated. He's still one of the most streamed rappers right now, still one of the most talked about rappers. I don't think he's underrated. I just think he's overhated. So I'm gonna disagree, kinda, agree, kinda. Next, we have NF is crazy overhated. I'm gonna blatantly agree with this one. I don't think NF is a super good rapper. I would put him at like a 5 out of 10, but people treat his music like it's the worst of all time. I think he has good production. If he did the sad stuff less frequently and switched up the vibe of his music, I think his reception would be better. So I do think he's crazy overhated. He gets way too much hate for no real reason. It's kind of like Jack Harlow, but I think he got stuck in the sad music too much, and that's what he's just attributed to. So if he just switches up the vibe a little more, I think his reception would be better and he would be perceived better and probably more loved. But his fan base is also still like culty, so he doesn't really need to. He'll still get numbers. People will still talk about how much they love him. But if he switched it up a little bit, I think the hate would subside. Next, we have a hot take that would have been hot in 2020, whenever The Box came out. We have The Box is overplayed. Personally, I don't remember the last time I heard The Box naturally. If I'm listening to The Box, I'm playing it. So, like I said, if this was 2020, yeah, I would agree with you. But I don't remember the last time I heard The Box, and it wasn't because I wanted to hear The Box. So I'm going to disagree in 2025 that The Box is not overplayed. Our penultimate hot take of the video is Mr. Morale is Kendrick Lamar's best album. I disagree, simply. I think Good Kid, Mad City is better. I think Damn is better. I think To Pimp a Butterfly is better. Now that fourth spot is where it gets a bit techie. I think I would put it at that fourth spot. So it is a top 5 Kendrick Lamar album in my opinion, but it is nowhere near Kendrick Lamar's best album. Our last hot take is Lil Wayne's voice is good. Now this one is very hot because I would say he is one of the more hated voices in all of hip hop. I love Lil Wayne's voice. He's my GOAT, but I think it is an acquired taste. So I think this is a bit of a subjective opinion here. If you listen to a lot of Lil Wayne, you're going to agree. If you don't really listen to Lil Wayne at all, you're going to say his voice is annoying. So I don't really think there's a good answer here. I think it's not annoying. You think it's not annoying. I think it's good. You think it's good. But there's going to be people that disagree, and there's not much you can really do to make them agree or disagree. So I'm going to agree with you, but, you know, it is what it is. That was me, a hip hop expert, reacting to my followers' hot takes. If you like this video, like and subscribe to get more hip hop and movie content from the hip hop expert himself. I would give you the world, baby girl. You just gotta be worth it.